Hi everyone, I'm Professor Sally Eves, CEO of Tomorrow's Tech Today, and a very warm welcome to episode 2 of our new bi-weekly LinkedIn Live series, exploring the people, the projects and the stories behind some truly inspirational SAP Innovation Award winners for 2022. These awards are really celebrating achievements of forward-thinking organisations and individuals too that are really disrupting industry, helping the world run better and improving people's lives. Today, we're focusing in on healthcare and specifically a submission around EasyRx, a smarter way to buy and sell healthcare products produced by Zuellig Pharma. And to explore all the details and the learning and takeaways we can take from this, I'm delighted to be joined by Daniel Leverick, who is Head of Digital and Data Solutions. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Hey, thanks, Sally. Thanks for having us.
My absolute pleasure. And to start off, Daniel, I know you have a wealth of experience, right across pharma, banking, oil, gas and telecoms. And you're also a champion as well of making healthcare more accessible. I couldn't agree more with that. I wonder if we could start by just sharing a little bit more about your role at Zuellig.
Yeah, sure. I head up digital and data for Zuellig Pharma. I've been with the company for close to 7 years now. My background is 20 years in SAP, working on various implementations and various incarnations of SAP. Around about a year ago, I took on a more digitally focused role. So really looking at how can we build digital solutions around our traditional ERP system and the backbone of everything that we do in pharma distribution. And so quite a different change for me, moving out of a very much a transactional, looking after an SAP system to then moving into this digital focused new role. But it's been great so far. And as you say, we have a mandate at Zuellig, which is to make healthcare more accessible. And by building these digital solutions, we are really helping people and empowering people to make their lives better.
Absolutely. A really shared value proposition now. Absolutely love that. Fantastic stuff. And in terms of your submission, I wonder if we can kind of bring that to life for the audience and describe the project and what the key goals were.
Yeah, sure. For people who don't know about Zuellig Pharma, we are Asia's leading healthcare services provider. We provide world-class distribution, digital and commercial services. And the company's it's pretty old. It's been around 100 years, and it's grown to cover 13 markets, and we have about 12 to 13,000 employees. So quite sizable in Asia is the market that we cover. And I think I mentioned our purpose is really to make healthcare more accessible. And my team, which is digital and data, really we are set up to break the barriers of innovation, provide B2B and now B2C healthcare solutions for clients, customers, and end consumers. And we like to look at this from looking at it from a plant to patient perspective. So really right across the value chain. And so what we did was we really wanted to leverage our strengths in distribution. That's where that's our core business. That's what we've been doing for 100 years. It's our bread and butter. But how could we then build a B2B e-commerce platform around this, EasyRx? And really it's all to facilitate the buying and selling of pharma products online. And it was kind of born out of, or accelerated, I guess, out of COVID-19. There really was a need to reduce, well, not just reduce, but basically overnight, certain markets or a lot of markets in Asia were kind of locked down. So how could we still make sure we could ship life-saving drugs out of the door when there was no in-person contact anymore, no sales reps going out, no visits to doctors? And so really it had to be literally overnight. We had to get a solution up and running that would allow orders to keep on coming through. And so it really was a lifesaver for not just us, but for everybody involved, and really it helped us to go on this mission, which was to ensure critical healthcare products were available. And then how could we, that was in the early days, but then how could we also support the vaccine rollouts? How could we make sure that we could, these huge volumes of vaccines, that we could make sure that vaccination centers could order them, we could deliver them on time, and not just that, PPE and everything that goes with it as well. And so really today the ordering process for pharma products with Zuellig Pharma is now near enough fully automated and digitized. EasyRx is the backbone of everything we do, and it's now evolved from just being an order taking platforms, tracking returns, payments, and actually a touch point and a digital engagement with customers and clients as well. So really, it's evolved hugely over the last 2 years from what was something that we really had to kind of rush to get out to make sure that the business could keep on functioning.
I have a great example as well of, not just continuity, as you were saying, having to go digital practically overnight. So you've got that continuity of service there, but also the acceleration of innovation. You mentioned the vaccine development, but also, you've really helped to evolve what was quite traditionally a sales-dominated business, face to face, to something that can be done, online, anytime, any place, really.
No, exactly. For us, the benefits you just mentioned, it was really a sales-dominated sales reps. They go and visit the doctors or the clinics, but really it's completely changed that. It's flipped it on its head. We've now got this digital first approach. You have the omni-channel engagement. We've really been able to be a lot more transparent, so increase visibility. You get to see where the orders are. They're all consolidated in one place. You get to be able to track them and see when it's going to be delivered. And really, we then can take it one step further. We can start to personalize it. You can have deals. You can have access to various information about the products, view your order history. And it's now all at the fingertips of both our customers, but also internally for our customer service colleagues as well. But we didn't just want to completely remove the sales reps from this journey. The sales reps are still needed. They need to be able to, once markets opened up, they needed to be able to kind of still continue what they did. So how could we help them actually order faster, make it more convenient, and hopefully free up some of the manual tasks, which allow them to do much more value add. So things around product detailing or managing key accounts or key products. And so today, we've really reaping, I guess you could say, the productivity and the benefits. Last year, we did nearly 12 million order lines through the system. And this interfaces directly into SAP and our ERP system, and then obviously the warehouse and the order to cash process kicks in. But yeah, it's been a huge benefit for us.
Fantastic. And I love the fact those benefits are so holistic and end to end. That really brought that to life. And my next question was really to dive into some of those benefits more, but you've actually touched a lot of them so organically. But are there any more numbers to bring that to life? You mentioned there about the 12 million. I also saw some things around productivity gains and the number of lines that are being digitalized, for example. I wonder if we can give a flavor of that to the audience as well.
Yeah, look, and one thing that we've tried to do is for us in the region and in Asia, we had a huge overhead on people processing orders, and so we hit a target where we wanted to digitize and automate these manual orders, and so far we're at a target of around about 60% of all of our manual orders, what we class as manual orders, so things that aren't traditionally through EDI interfaces or use our RPA to do them, have now been automated. So either through a sales rep using the system or a customer using the system. Well, I have a target next year to get this to between 80 to 90%, which would basically be all orders. Some orders you can't, because there could be special deals and things which maybe we can't do in the system. But I think that's quite an ambitious target. And the productivity gains would be anywhere in excess of around about 1.5 million per year if we can hit those targets, which is obviously great for the business. Also, within since we've been live in the last 20 months, we've consolidated all of these systems into one regional EasyRx. So we had, every market had their own legacy systems, and we've been able to consolidate that. Next year, we have a couple of old legacy systems which we'll bring over, and we'll have the entire business running on one central system. And so, since its launch, we now have 40,000+ customers who are regularly ordering. These are customers who are 100% ordering themselves. We have about 400 clients, and the top 20 pharma manufacturers in the world kind of list their products on the site. So it's been a huge success so far.
That's incredible. Now, any project like this as well, particularly at the time when this was incepted, essentially at the height of COVID, obviously there's challenges along the way, particularly around the complexity of doing something like this. I wonder if you could just explore a little bit about what those challenges were from your take and how you overcame them, so we can share that learning too.
Yeah, look, time was a big one. The guys and the team who worked on this, they worked 24/7, and it's all because we have this shared vision of making healthcare more accessible. Everybody went above and beyond. and really to make sure that we could keep on helping people. I think it was obviously born out of the COVID crisis, and that in itself has actually helped. It's an accelerator. It was an accelerator to adoption because people had no other alternative. But we had to make sure that we were tackling business continuity. How could we make sure our operations could keep on going, which were kind of traditionally labor intensive. And so for some of these areas, we obviously had orders coming into EasyRx. We had to then look at how could we automate the warehouse process, or maybe the RPAs to help process some of those back-end functions as well. So how could the two kind of tie together? Really, we had to a bit of a mindset change as well. Customers, they were very much traditionally focused on dealing with a face-to-face interaction with a sales rep, then had to suddenly move to placing orders online. And also for me and the team, we had this, we're a little bit of architects of our own success or downfall of our own success. Suddenly we have this huge surge coming through, and how can we make sure that the system can keep on running? How can we make sure it's scalable? How can we make sure it can deal with these surges, which you see at peak times of the month? It could be the last few days of the month or the first few days of the month. So really quite a kind of, when you rush something like this, then you suddenly build up a bit of technical debt that you have to go back and kind of fix along the way. And it was a learning curve for us to kind of roll something out as quickly as possible, but really to then get it into the hands of customers. And so then what we found after a few months is that people's what they expect a B2C, any normal e-commerce platform. Originally it started life as just an online order platform, but now you want the whole experience. You want information, you want photographs, you want recommendations, you want advertising. So very quickly we've had to evolve this to make sure that we can fulfill those expectations. And so it's been a journey. I think for me the key ones were really managing customers and stakeholders, that they really had to embrace this, and the world was changing. But then to make sure that once we had people on the platform, that we don't lose them, and we keep them engaged, and we keep it fresh, and we keep giving them what they expect on the normal e-commerce experience that they get. And so it's been a constant journey. I think I come from an SAP background, very much a traditional waterfall way of developing. So very much then having to change my own and the team's mindset to become much more agile and to have a product out there to iterate based on feedback from customers, and not to take that feedback to heart. That this feedback is good. It gives us, allows us to build on the product, improve the product, and keep on doing what we do best, which is obviously healthcare and shipping products out the door. So yeah, it's been a journey, and it was I won't sugarcoat it. It was a tough journey at the start, purely because of the circumstances in which we had to accelerate this.
Absolutely. I saw one of your presentations recently, actually, as well, and it was like talking to teams about how to kind of learn more and fail fast and do good, and that kind of came to the fore when you were speaking there, because you're absolutely right. It's not just about the right technology combination. It's about culture. It's about skills. It's about buy-in, those relationships, and having the right change management approach, as you were saying there as well. So things like CI/CD, doing that agile iteration, more regular changes that actually reduce risk. So that's fantastic example of how you need to think of all those different facets to really make that change happen and to make it scalable too. So I love that. And I also love the point about how the solution has changed so much, because you're absolutely right. Every vertical, consumer or end user expectations and behaviors have accelerated so fast, and I think healthcare is no exception. So really, really interesting. My next question is around kind of power of partnership, really. And obviously you've got your own background, extensive background with SAP. I just wonder if you could talk a little bit about the importance of that role and the underpinning technology there that's helped deliver and make this a reality.
Yeah, really the key to the EasyRx value was allowing customers to do self-service operations anytime, anywhere. And so our backbone is SAP ERP system. But what we were very early adopters of was SAP's BTP. And so really, how could we, and when I used to head up SAP, I always looked at how could we keep our SAP core ERP system as clean as possible, as vanilla as possible, and build the functionality around it that we wanted to. And that will allow us to kind of do this fail fast, try things out, move on to the next thing. And so even though it's seamlessly and tightly integrated into our SAP system, a lot of the work takes place outside and in API gateways and managed through the SAP BTP system. We could never have done this without HANA. Basically, we moved to HANA a few years ago. We need that processing power to do real-time updates and order statuses. Without that, it just wasn't feasible. So I think when we package all of that together with what we're looking to do, it means that we can then give this enhanced customer experience. So you can order, you can track, you can return, you can pay on the platform. Again, we heavily use Cloud for Payments from SAP as the interface into the payments. And for me, it's great. You know, as a customer, you can do all self-service. You can see your statement of account. You can pay which invoices you want to. You do your bank or credit card payment, and then the matching and the knockoff is all automated. So huge manual processes that we used to kind of undertake. So for me, it's key. You know, this partnership that I've had working with SAP and looking at how we can evolve our product to make sure it really does what we always hoped it to do. And actually, it's gone beyond expectations. You know, we never even envisaged that in the first year we would do close to 12 million order lines through the platform. For me, that's really pleasing, and it shows that we made the right choices and took the right path.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a living embodiment of that. It really is. It's a power of partnership personified. A lot of P's there, absolutely. But it really is. You absolutely, really unpack the how and the why that this has worked so well. So absolutely love that. And again, it's that integration of technology, the reduction of silos, reduction of complexity, and that automation you were mentioning there. So you've got that active intelligence, the ability to make decisions real time, having the right information at the right time to the right people. So love that. Fantastic stuff. I've seen as well you've been involved in a number of innovative projects. One piqued my interest as well about blockchain and supply chain, an area that I've been involved in a lot myself. So I'd love to, as we come to the end of our LinkedIn Live here, to explore a little bit about what's next. In your personal role and the organisation more broadly, what's the next area of innovation that you're looking at, plans for the future, and what technology do you think will make the biggest difference to helping to achieve that?
Yeah, look, actually, the blockchain piece is very close to my heart. This is something we started out life with the SAP, and I've been involved in this for must be 4 or 5 years, more than 5 years now. And for me, I think this has always been, certainly in Asia, there's a huge problem with counterfeits and substandard medicines. And it's kind of a bit of an elephant in the room. We know that it happens, but nobody has any real way to do anything about it. So for me, one of the areas that I look after is something we call Easy Tracker, and it's all about empowering patients to be able to have that degree of confidence that the product they're about to take, and this could be anything from COVID vaccines to HPV vaccines. These are things that change people's lives. Are within the degrees or the boundaries that we can guarantee it are a genuine product, and so we're starting to see a lot of traction in this region. I think blockchain, it started out life as a bit of a buzzword. I think it's now readily accepted in supply chain. I see this is really going to be adopted in the next few years. You can already sense that people's perceptions are changing. So for me, that's one area that I look after. I think EasyRx will evolve. The e-commerce the e-commerce landscape that we've got will become a marketplace, which is what we want to do. We want to open it out and maybe disrupt ourselves a little bit. So really, how can we start to connect additional buyers and sellers that are maybe not our traditional customers, and how can we make it a one-stop shop for, let's say, Pharma to start with, but maybe open it up into other products along the way. I think the whole customer experience will never stop. I think the whole UI UX, we have to constantly keep evolving. We need to make sure that it's fresh and people want to use it, which will lead us to then more omni-channel marketing, patient engagement, and kind of those touch points. And then for me, a big one that I'm looking at the moment is really around data. So we do a lot around data insights, but then how can we extend that using some new technology like confidential computing to make sure that we can connect data owners and data consumers in a very secure manner, that we ensure that privacy, GDPR, whatever rules that we need to follow, adhere to, and even to the extent that we don't even have to exchange the data. You can keep your data one side, you can run the algorithm on the other side, and the results are just populated out. So I think for me, they're what I really see as kind of the next big things on the horizon for us at Zuellig. I think 2023 is going to be quite an exciting year for us.
Fantastic. I love that. I think healthcare and pharma in particular is such a dynamic space. And I love the fact that we're getting more holistic about how we review that and looking at more preventative care and things like this. So all the developments you're talking about there, and particularly what you mentioned at the end there as well about embedding in things around security, compliance, privacy by design, giving people that confidence is so key. And particularly with, areas like clinical trials, for example, as well. See really big benefits there going forward about giving people the confidence, for example, today, the most sensitive data, DNA, for example, which can make a huge difference, particularly, in conditions and diseases that don't get as much funding because, smaller populations or something like that. So really, really interesting times. I think, as you say, 2023 is going to be one to watch. I couldn't agree more strongly.
No, it's there's so much this space, the health tech space is evolving so fast, and it's great to be able to be part of that, but then also do something which is worthwhile. We are actually building something tangible. We are touching people's lives and making people's lives better and making healthcare more accessible. So for me, that's the proudest, and that's what I'm proudest of most for the team.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Daniel. Honestly, it's a joy speaking to you. And one word is ringing through my ears at the moment: empowerment. You really are enabling that with all the solutions that you're building and that power of partnership as well. So thank you, Daniel, for joining us. Thank you all for joining us as well. And what we'll do as well in the chat, we'll be sharing some resources so you can find out more and get more information about the amazing solutions we've been talking about here today. So thank you all. It's been a fantastic LinkedIn Live, and we really enjoy your company. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.